Hey coaches, it is Jamie Olson, and I am here today to talk to you about the workshop that I was so blessed to have been chosen for because I helped enough people in October to achieve this exciting gift. And it was a workshop with Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is the author of one of my favorite books, The Compound Effect. If you haven't read this book yet, I think it would be a fantastic opportunity for you to learn more about how to be successful in your business. So today I want to talk to you about what I learned at this workshop. It was an amazing amount of information. And I just love the way Darren Hardy broke it all down. And so I'm going to kind of go through my notes with you and talk about what I learned, and hopefully you'll gain some information from this and some pearls that you can take, because right now we have about 45 days left in the year. So we want to finish big, and this workshop is called Finishing Big Workshop. And we want to push through the last 45 days of this year and also start the new year strong. So he goes through and he talks about one of my mentors in who is one of his mentors, Jim Rohn. And he talks about how Jim Rohn, he felt like through Jim Rohn's words and in mentorship, he felt like Jim was grabbing him by the shoulders and saying, "Come on, you can do so much better." And he always felt like he could do better, and that I took from this is like you could be doing better, right? I mean, if you feel like your current results are not getting you where you believe you need to be, you need to dig deeper. Like Shanti says, dig deeper, and it's only a little bit deeper. I'll go into in a couple minutes on how it doesn't take that much more effort to gain bigger results. But now's the time. Now's the time to have the best end of 2015 so that and you can start off the new year so that you can have a sweet 16. I love that. 2016 called a sweet 16. So, how? Like, what separates the winners from the losers? What defines, or what can help you win versus lose, right? And it's always what was interesting is Darren was talking about how it always comes down to the end of the game, right? The final stretch, the final moments, the final innings, the final quarters, that final effort right at the end, that's what determines whether a team wins or loses. He gave a couple examples like the NFL, right? So he was giving some statistics and said that there are more points in the last 2 minutes of each half than the rest of the game. So those last 2 minutes, those teams gave their final push and their final effort, and the teams that gave the biggest push tend to be the winners, which was interesting. Major League Baseball, those teams who pushed hard in the ninth inning more often than not were the winners. In commerce, in retail, 20 to 40% of commerce is done in the last 45 days of the year. So you see big sales happening. I mean, you see it everywhere. Black Friday, you see a big push to get as much selling done at the end of the year. Even in the industries I've been a part of, at the end of the year, there's always this big push to get as many sales done as possible before the end of the year. And he talked a lot about, visualize this, in the race, the leader of the pack, or even if somebody's behind, whoever puts that last sprint at the end are the one that breaks the tape. So how are you going to break the tape this year at the end of 2015? Envision yourself breaking the tape, achieving what you want to achieve this last 45 days. Just visualize yourself leaning forward and breaking that tape. And I want you to write down 5 potential distractions. What are some things that are going to distract you from breaking the tape? You know, it could be holiday parties, it could be getting things done around the house, wrapping presents, shopping for presents. You know, what are some of the 5 top distractions that potentially could cause you to not break the tape and not be successful? And then I want you to look at that list and I want you to figure out how you can outsource something. Maybe hire a maid for a one-time visit so that you can get some help cleaning, which is what I've done. It's helped tremendously. Maybe you could shop on Amazon or shop online instead of actually going to the store and shopping at the store, because it could take a lot less time to do your shopping online. What are some ways that you could delegate? Could somebody else do something for you? Could somebody else run an errand for you? Or what things just aren't that big of a deal? Do you really need to do that? Think about that kind of stuff. And what are some things that you can say no to? Are there so many holiday parties that you're invited to? You don't have to go to all of them. Pick and choose the ones that are the most important and then say no to the rest. I mean, it is what it is. Give yourself the opportunity to succeed in your business and be okay with saying no. I mean, people say no to us all the time, right? So why can't we say no to people too sometimes, and I want you to think about, because you only need 5 potential distractions. There could be like 1,000,003, right? But you only really need to try to delegate and get rid of like 5, because it doesn't take that much more to win. And it was interesting because Darren gave us this analogy, this golf analogy, Jason Day. I'm familiar with him, but I'm not familiar with Zach. I don't know Zach's last name. I forgot. Anyway, I couldn't write my notes fast enough. But if you look at Jason Day and Zach, what's his name, from golf, the guys watching this probably are screaming at the screen right now saying, Zach so-and-so, Zach so-and-so, how could you not know him? But anyway, and ladies, some ladies are into golf too, so you probably know better than me. But anyway, okay, I digress, as usual. Jason Day, number 1, Zach so-and-so, number 10, right? If you look at Jason Day's statistics, he's averaging 69.2 shots, making $9.4 million this year. Where Zach, who's number 10, he averaged 69.7, so only 0.5 shots behind the number 1 guy. 0.5 shots, half a shot. And he's making $4.8 million. That's like half. So Jason, the number 1 guy, makes twice the amount of money, but is only half a shot better than the number 10 guy. Isn't that crazy? So he's, maybe he's practicing a little bit more, an extra day more. Maybe he is getting to the course, a half an hour early, just a little bit more effort, garnishing him a little bit better results for a huge amount in success better, if you want to put money as the marker. It's amazing that it's only a little bit more that determines twice the results. Isn't that interesting? So now apply what you've learned and write down 2 to 3 ways that you can do just a little bit more. Just a little bit more in inviting, in recruiting new coaches to your team. Be more disciplined in your workouts, in your shake, drinking your Shakeology, eating clean, sharing what you're doing. Be more disciplined in sharing more often. And don't forget personal development. You need to be more disciplined in your personal development. And something to keep in mind, we have Hammer and Chisel coming out December 1st. So that gives us a great opportunity to talk about something new and exciting. So it gives us a way to reach more people. All these people that have been saying no to us, we can now come back and say, hey, I know you weren't interested before, but I'm so excited. There's this new program coming out. It's for guys and girls who want those phenomenal results. And, so learn about hammer and chisel in this new program so that you can use that as a way to talk to more people. It's awesome. Um, and, a lot of people think like, oh my gosh, that little bit of effort, that's so painful. Like that, it's going to take a lot of work. Saying no to people and delegating, it's so painful. But reframe the pain, okay? Pain is good. No pain, no gain, right? Or in that commercial, no pain, no pain. Sorry, I can be cheesy. But think of pain as your friend, because pain is required for growth. I mean, we know this. We work out, right? We know that our muscle, it's painful when we are building our muscles. We're sore, our muscles ache, we're tired, and it feels like pain, but we know that's growing muscles, right? So we know that we need to go through that pain in order to get results. So pain is good. Pain is good. So pain also means progress, right? Every step separates you from the rest. It takes you from the ordinary to extraordinary. So if it were easy, if all of this success was easy, then you'd have a lot more competition, right? You'd have way more competition. If everybody enjoyed the pain and if everybody was okay with it, then everybody would be successful, and there'd be a lot more competition out there. But there really isn't. Pain is victory. And because when you are willing to endure the pain and endure what you have to go through to reach success, you're going to be victorious. So think about pain in that regards. And maybe it'll make it a little bit easier to invite a little more, recruit a little more, share a little more, and all of that. So because to have what others want, you have to do what others won't, right? You have to be willing to do more. So, instead of doing 12 reps, you did 13 or 14. You bust through that breaking point. As soon as you start to feel pain, go a little bit further, dig deeper, and go past that and do more. Do those extra reps, because by doing those extra reps, it's going to multiply the rest. And Darren gave this other analogy. If you think about in your car, you think the old school cars, because a lot of us have digital cars, but I think they still have the mile or the RPM markers, right? So it go, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think about the 6 or 7 mark. It's the red line, right? That red area. So I guess in your screen it would look like this. Well, anyway, so you want to go all the way. You want to be in that red line. You want to be revving that engine. You want to be pushing hard and going hard, and stay as much as you can. Stay in that red line, and and think about that. Think about, how hard your car has to work to get to the red line, right? So think about yourself and how hard you have to work to get to the red line, because when you're there, you can, you're going to be able to achieve success faster, right? And it's hard, it's hard to think about it like that sometimes, I think, and when I'm sitting here telling you, going through my notes and giving you this information. But he talks about compressing the amount of time and energy in a concentrated time. So when he said this, it made me think about setting a timer. I've talked to some of you guys about setting a timer. When you need to get something done, you set a timer, so that way it forces you to do everything you can do and accomplish everything you need to accomplish in that set amount of time. So think about setting a timer. I think that's a good idea. But The other analogy that Darren gave was when you're compressing the amount of time and energy into a concentrated time. He talked about the a rocket ship, right? So a rocket ship, it's all systems go, right? Everything's full force till it gets into the atmosphere, and then it lets go some of the things, and it's still going a little bit, but not as much energy. And then once it breaks through the atmosphere, it just kind of floats, right? So you have to build a bunch of energy. You have to put a lot of time and energy and really get going until you reach a certain point where you can just kind of, in a way, not coast because you still got to work, but it's a different kind of time and energy. So right now you're in that launch phase, right? You're in that super beginning launch phase. So when you're thinking about this and you're thinking about, the end of the year, the last 45 days, and setting yourself up for success to have a sweet 16, think about 3 tips, okay? 3 tips. Number one, prioritize yourself for profitability. So think about who in your circle has the greatest need. So who do you think um, needs what you have to offer the most, and focus on them, right? And remind people that starting the business now and getting involved now, specifically with the business, they could possibly get a tax break if they start their business in 2015. Once they go to do taxes, then there's a lot more write-offs that they could have. So that's something to keep in mind. He mentioned that. And you want to, when you're prioritizing yourself for profitability, you think about creating a disciplined schedule and doing your personal development. But realize that it's okay to prioritize yourself, and make sure that what you're doing is working towards your profitability. And the number 2 tip is to build your bank. And when he says bank, he means emotional bank. He mentioned Stephen Covey saying match the market, but what he's really talking about is relationships are like a bank account, right? And we have to make emotional deposits. If we have relationships and we never show up and we don't give any effort or energy, that relationship is going to dissolve. Okay, that's not going to work. Just like your bank account, if you're not putting money into your savings account, you're not going to have any savings. I mean, it's as simple as that. So you have to make deposits into the people around you, into your relationships. So I want you to identify 12 people in each of these areas. 12 or at least 12 people, and look at these different areas. You might not have 12 people in each area, but think about a dozen, okay, to make it simple because it's the end of the year. Think about your family. Who do you need to make up emotional deposits in? Your spouse, your parents, your siblings. Think about your prospects, the people that this would be great for. Think about making deposits into their lives and helping them, not just with the business. This is just showing them that you care. Talk to them about their dog. Talk to them about their family, their kids, their jobs. Show them that you care. And then your current customers, make sure you're following up with them and saying, hey, how's your program going? And I know you had a hurt foot. How's your foot feeling? And whatever. Just invest some time and make those emotional deposits. And then your team members, the coaches on your team, make sure that you check in with them and make sure that they're doing well, and make some emotional deposits into their banks as well. Because you need to kind of get out of your bubble sometimes, because sometimes we get so focused and we forget that we have to pay attention to the people around us and the people that are supporting us. So what will you do? So think about it and write it down. What will you do to show these people, this dozen or so people, that you love them and that you care about them? Number 3, the third tip is win before the game begins. It's almost 2016. We have 45 days left in 2015, but we also want to be thinking about January and the first quarter of 2016. You want to be doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing because you got to start now. You can't wait till January 1st because all the successful people, they're already going. So when your feet hit the ground January 1st, you need to already have your plan in action and you need to already be booked and already have everything in motion and everything going. So you have to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. It's the holiday season. Everybody else is just kind of coasting and they're enjoying family and friends, and you can do that too. But in between those holiday gatherings and stuff, you need to be working towards setting up, setting booking your schedule for January. So the successful people are already booked. By the time January 1st comes, the whole January is already done. They're on to February and March and so on. So you want to get a head start. So you want to pre-plan. So you want to pre-plan when you're going to work. You're going to put an hour a day, an hour a week, whatever it is, whatever you think is going to work best for you. A couple minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever it is. Plan out your workouts. Write this down. Get a paper schedule. I love paper schedules. I grew out of my phone. I couldn't do my phone anymore, so I got a paper schedule again. So plan out your workouts, plan out your social and family time, plan out date night. Don't forget date night. Plan out when you're going to do your personal development, when you're going to spend time with God, when are you going to pray and have that spiritual time. Plan out when you're going to train your team, your coaches on your team. Plan out when you're going to do your leadership training. And then once you have those planned, schedule when you're going to take time to plan that. It takes time to invite people and talk about it. So I have a video about planning out your month, and I kind of actually plan out a couple months at a time. So maybe go check out that video. It's on my YouTube channel about planning out your monthly schedule. But you want to make sure that you incorporate the time it takes to plan these different things as well and put that into your schedule. And then fill the rest of your schedule with prospecting and setting appointments with people and all of that. So once you start thinking about that, what are your goals? Like, what is your number one goal for your Sweet 16, right? What's the number one goal? And then once you figure out what your number one goal is, you got to dig deep and kind of think about this. What skill do you need in order to achieve that goal? Do you know? Do you know what you're lacking? Do you know what area you need work in? If you do, you probably all do. If you do, you need to start right now investing time into developing that skill so that you can achieve the success that you are looking for. Because you don't actually achieve something you never had, right? You have to learn the skills necessary so that you can grow into the goals. So you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in personal development, in honing in and developing those skills. And it's funny because Darren Hardy, during this workshop, he talked about Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn's one of my favorites, and I remember Jim Rohn's talk on the dollar. And you have to go back and listen to the whole thing. I'll just touch on a little bit of it. But he talks about the dollar, and he talks about how 10%, obviously you tithe. You always have to think about tithing, giving back to charities, 10% of what you make. But the other 10%, or one of the other 10%, is to reinvest in yourself, okay? Reinvesting in yourself, working on personal development. So whether that's going to a workshop, whether that is buying books or doing an online program or going to a seminar or something, reinvest in yourself. So I want you to look at 2016, look at what your income goal is for 2016, take 10% of that and invest that money beforehand into your personal development, because you really, that's the key to all of this, is to honing in on your skills. Like me right now, I'm trying so hard to be a better leader for you guys and to learn more. So I'm taking classes and well, like online training sessions, and constantly learning what I can do to be a better leader for you, because I know that's where I lack. And I know I'm not as good at inviting as I need to be. So I know I need to work on that skill, and I need to work on my personal development. It's a constant, it's never ending, right? So I want you to reinvest in yourself and really, really, really put that time and effort into learning everything you need. But the biggest thing about personal development and learning the skills is to implement. You have to implement what you're learning. So don't just wait till you're the best at it. Like I'm obviously not the best, so I'm not waiting. You just have to jump in with both feet and learn as you go, and you will get there. And just start today. I hope you learned some things. I'm at the end. Oh, the last thing is, never ask what something costs. Ask what it's worth. So that was the end of my notes. So I hope you guys got something from this. Um, I think I hear my kids getting up from their nap time. I'm hiding in the guest room. So I hope you guys got something from this, and I really look forward to growing with you and to being successful with you and to helping you along the way. So thanks again, and I look forward to talking to you soon, and look forward to our next training. So take care, everybody. Bye.